Shivers, The Enchanted Attic by M.D. Spencer. Chapter 8. There seemed nothing to do but turn around. This particular adventure was at an end. Whatever lay behind the massive wooden door would remain unexplored, or so it seemed. Casey was not ready to concede defeat. She got that determined look on her face again. "I know how to open a lock," she announced. "Oh, really?" said Nicole. "How?" "With a barrette," Casey replied. "Dad did it one time at our old house when I locked the door 'cause I was mad." Nicole rolled her eyes. "I think this door is a little different than the one to your room in Virginia," she said. But Casey paid no attention. She plucked a barrette from her hair, bent it open, and inserted the flat metal end into the big keyhole. "Casey," Nicole said in the exasperated tone, "this is not going to work." Casey made no reply other than to say, "Shine the light this way so I can see what I'm doing." Nicole did so. And as she did, she could see determination reflected in Casey's eyes. She was squinting in concentration. Her lips were pursed. Her jaw was set. If there was a way to open a cast iron lock with a little girl's barrette, Casey would find it. Suddenly she stopped. Nicole froze as well. She had heard the noise too. Both girls held their breath and pressed their ears close to the thick wooden door. For long seconds they held their breath, straining to hear. The noise came again. It was a scritching noise, sounding again like a hamster trying to scratch its way out of its cage. "Rats," Nicole breathed softly. "Maybe mice. I heard them the other night." Casey resumed her work on the lock. Nicole resumed breathing. Then the girls heard another noise that made their blood run cold. Voices. At least it sounded like voices, though they were so far away and faint it was hard to tell. The voices, if that indeed is what they were too soft to make out the words. They sounded muffled, as if they were made by very little people, stuffed under a very big blanket, so the noise could barely get through. Again the girls held their breath and pressed their ears to the door. Whatever the muffled noise was, it was definitely coming from behind the door. The scritching noise and the noise-like voices alternated. First one, then the other. All of this made Casey more determined than ever to open that door. She started picking at the huge metal lock with renewed energy. Nicole wasn't sure now that she wanted to open the door at all. In fact, she felt like leaving. Right away. Her body almost started to leave before her head came to a decision. But her head won out. She was not going to be afraid anymore. If her 7-year-old sister wanted to find out what was behind that door, she most definitely was not going to leave. Besides, there was no real danger, she reminded herself. Casey would never get the door unlocked anyway. The voices started again. Or did they? Nicole had just convinced herself that it was just the old boards of the house creaking, when suddenly, from far off in the distance, she heard another noise. This was definitely a voice. It was not coming from behind the door. It was coming from behind them, and it was calling her name.